I want to talk about the psychology of fear and how overt narcissists use fear that is already existing in you to control you, and how systemic abuse works. So I'll give you an example. Well, first of all, what's overt abuse? Overt abuse is done very subtly. So it's like, hey, no, no, not you're stupid. This your hair is fine, oh. Where did you even get it from, Seth? I don't know, say you feel buy this kind of hair. But covert abuse is direct. You're mad, you're stupid. Or carrying a very mad, are you mad? You're shouting. That's covert direct. Overt is subtle. You have to read in between the lines before you catch the disrespect or before you catch the oppression and abuse. So what's overt narcissists do is that they intercept your will with subtle cues, subtle insults. They abuse you, they break down your self-esteem subtly in between conversations. Let's say you achieve something and they're like, I'm not sure say I don't say you feel I achieved something like this before, or you say something and they give you backhanded compliments. That's subtle overt narcissism. And how this translates to systemic abuse is that over time they are intercepting your will. Humans have will, right? Women have will, and we are all abused in either ways. Human beings are we've created systems like racism, capitalism, and misogyny that systematically abuse us and puts us in sections, right? So now women are abused from the moment they are born. Their will is intercepted. So as they grow up, if they're not careful, they slowly lose their will, and the abuser's will or the oppressor's will is slightly shifted in. Do you understand? So, and what that does is it now increases your fear. If you take a child that wasn't trained to speak out for himself or for herself, and then you put them there with a child that has been allowed to, go haywire, and the child is like, if you cross this line, it's telling the other one, if you cross this line, I will beat you. Nah. If you cross him, the other one now has the option to either cross it or not cross it. And then there's a high tendency for that child to not cross it if he has had a similar experience in the past where he crossed a line and he was beaten up. Do you understand? So systemic abuse is that, let's say your family is poor or you come from a poor background, you've repeatedly seen things happen to your parents, to your dad. So those, or even if you've not seen them, it's embedded in your DNA, right? Just like we know people, just by looking at people, you can know what class they fall in: middle class, high class, or low class. Just by looking at them, how they speak, how they walk, how they talk, you can tell what class they fall in. That is the same way, without anybody having to tell you anything. You already know the kind of abuse the systemic oppression you fall into, right? Whether it's capitalism, racism, or gender, you know where you fall into. It's in your DNA automatically. It's in your psyche. So if you have a psyche that has been subjected to systemic abuse in the lowest level in the past, you are going to be there's a higher chance for you to be more scared of passing that mark that the oppressor has put for you. That's why we have to train our mind to overcome fear. You cannot allow fear in your mind. And that's why you see the oppressors, they don't want you to realize who you are. They don't want you to realize your worth. They don't want you to realize that you can do anything in this life if you put your mind to it. They want to keep you oppressed and not believing in yourself. Because the moment I think there was one cartoon, Ants, where the grasshoppers were oppressing the ants, and then there was one guy that spoke up in the ant community, and then the grasshoppers targeted that guy to want to take him down, because they know that if that guy instills courage in these other ants, and if they fight the ants if the ants fight the grasshoppers once, the grasshoppers has lost their hold. Do you get? If the grasshoppers come to the ant colony again, the ants will fight back and keep fighting back. Do you get? And that's the same way with gangsters. When you're passing a gangster's place, and or let's say those drug dealers, and then you do business with the drug dealer, and then the drug dealer just wants to come and, you know, do you any and say, you must give me 20%, or now we get this area, you must give me 20%. And then the other person is like, lie, I know they give you one thing air, because they know that if you give in that first time, they'll keep coming back. And if you stand your ground that first time, it's easier to keep saying no. The first time you've said no, it's easier to keep saying no. The first time you've said yes, it's easier to keep saying yes. Do you get? So it just occurred to me that if you can just have a green light once, it's easier for you to go on a streak of winning, to go on a streak of being unafraid of beating the oppressor. So, my dear, take heart. Once you can say yes no once, you can say no again. Yeah.